Number 1. China, the cradle of global inventions. When it comes to China, many people immediately think of the 4 great inventions: paper, the compass, gunpowder, and printing techniques. These were all creations that changed the course of human civilization. However, very few people know that the list of inventions originating from ancient China is far richer. For example, football, the king of sports that everyone associates with Europe, actually originated in China more than 2,000 years ago. The game was called kuju, in which the ball was made of leather, stuffed with bird feathers and hair. Players used their feet to pass and score goals. FIFA today even recognizes kuju as the oldest form of football. In some Han Dynasty tombs, drawings depicting scenes of playing kuju have been found, showing that this game was once so popular it was even considered a form of military training. In the 2nd century, the scholar Zhang Heng created a special device that could detect distant earthquakes, called a seismoscope. This was the world's first tool to record ground vibrations, while the West had not yet conceived of such an idea. Interestingly, the seismoscope looked like a giant bronze vessel, with 8 dragons attached on the outside, each holding a ball. When a tremor occurred, the ball would fall into the mouth of a toad below, indicating the direction of the earthquake. In the field of finance, the Chinese were also pioneers when they created paper money during the Tang and Song dynasties. While most of humanity still used heavy gold, silver, or copper, here, patterned paper notes became a medium of exchange. This invention not only transformed domestic trade, but also laid the foundation for the global economic system. In medicine, China also made important contributions. The ancients already knew about acupuncture, used herbal medicine, and even had early records describing the circulatory system. This was thousands of years ahead of the West. In addition, there were many other inventions that few would expect. Matches were invented in China in the 6th century. The first kites also appeared here, initially used to send signals in the military. Only later did they become a popular folk game in many countries. Which invention from ancient China impresses you the most? Leave a comment. Perhaps the invention you use every day actually originated here. Number 2. Taboos in China. In China, you need to be very cautious with people who have certain tattoos if you don't want to get into trouble. While in many countries, tattoos are simply a matter of personal preference, here, each tattoo carries a special symbolic meaning. For example, the succubus tattoo represents sensuality and desire in women. Anyone with this tattoo is implicitly understood to belong to another master. Because of this, Chinese men often avoid interacting with women who have such tattoos to steer clear of complications. The spiderweb tattoo is similar, as it signals that the person has been to prison. Particularly dangerous is the teardrop tattoo at the corner of the eye, often accompanied by small dots on the thumb. In Chinese belief, the teardrop symbolizes a murder, while each small dot represents a life taken. In addition, in some underground gangs, there are specific rules. A large dragon tattoo stretching across the back signifies high status in the organization, while a tiger tattoo on the chest symbolizes ferocity. Tattoos are not the only taboos. In China, there are also many other strange prohibitions. For instance, you will never see anyone wearing a green hat. The Chinese are comfortable with green shirts, pants, or shoes, but a green hat is strictly avoided. Legend has it that long ago, a woman who was having an affair secretly made her husband a green hat, so that when he came home, she could see him from afar and warn her lover to escape. Since then, wearing a green hat has become a symbol of betrayal and infidelity. Even today, if a foreign tourist wears a green hat in the street, they are sure to attract curious looks. Gift giving also comes with many taboos. Giving a Chinese person a pear is absolutely not recommended, because the word pair is pronounced similarly to separation, implying parting ways. Not only pears, but also many other items are avoided as gifts, such as knives, scissors, handkerchiefs, clocks, or umbrellas, since all of them suggest separation. Moreover, you should never give gifts in sets of 4, because the number 4 inches Chinese sounds similar to the word death, symbolizing bad luck. At the dining table, sticking chopsticks upright into a bowl of rice is considered a major taboo, as it resembles the incense sticks at a funeral. Also, using chopsticks to point at someone is thought to bring them misfortune. Finally, Unlike in the West, leaving a tip in China is considered impolite. This act can easily be misunderstood as looking down on the server. Therefore, even if you are satisfied with the service, just give a compliment instead of leaving a tip. Number 3. Strange customs of the Chinese. In China, there is a mysterious custom that makes many people both curious and uneasy. The Miao people believe that by raising a special type of insect, you can make someone fall in love with you or bring wealth and luck to your family. This custom is called raising goo worms. Ge is formed when people put notorious poisonous creatures such as snakes, centipedes, scorpions, and spiders together in a sealed jar. They will bite and kill each other until only one creature survives. That survivor becomes the goo, believed to possess extremely strong evil powers. According to folk belief, goo can bring love, luck, and money, or be used to curse enemies through poisoning. However, raising goo is extremely risky, because if the owner cannot control it, it will turn against them and bring disaster to the whole family. Though many doubt this power is anything more than legend, historical records from the Tang dynasty, such as the New Book of Tang, mention officials suspected of dying from goo poison. Victims were said to suffer from insatiable hunger, gradual exhaustion, and eventually died in agony. At certain times, some emperors even strictly banned medicines and food from regions infamous for raising goo. Some tales even suggest that certain families secretly passed down the method of raising goo for generations, treating it as a family heirloom to maintain power while instilling fear in their enemies. Beyond the custom of raising goo, Chinese history also witnessed a gruesome practice known as live burial of the elderly. This custom emerged during times of famine, when the elderly were seen as a burden since they could no longer work. In some places, it was even believed that elders living too long would diminish the blessings of their descendants. As a result, some families would take their elderly parents up the mountain, place them in a pit, and slowly cover them with soil until they died. This barbaric practice was so horrific that as early as the Qin dynasty, the government had to issue strict laws to prohibit it. Today, this custom no longer exists, but it is still remembered as a warning about filial piety. Speaking of strange customs in China, one cannot overlook the corpse-walking tradition in the Shaanxi region. People believe that the dead must return to their homeland to rest in peace. But with the mountainous terrain, transporting corpses was not easy. Thus, a unique profession emerged, known as the corpse herder. They tied the corpses with straw ropes several meters apart and used the sound of bells or gongs to guide the procession of bodies at night. Villagers said that under the moonlight, rows of corpses moved slowly as if they were alive, creating a chilling sight. Modern scholars suggest that these were merely dummies arranged to deceive villagers, while the real bodies were transported in other ways. However, in many rural areas, people still whisper that some sorcerers could use spells to make real corpses walk, step by step, back to their hometown. This belief has made corpse walking one of the scariest legends in China. Number 4. Strange beauty standards of Chinese women. In China, it is rare to see women wearing bikinis on the beach. Instead, they often choose outfits that cover their entire bodies, sometimes even concealing their faces. This comes from the long-standing Chinese belief of whiteness covers 3 flaws, meaning that fair skin can hide many imperfections. As a result, porcelain white skin has become an important measure of beauty. To maintain this standard, many Chinese women cover themselves carefully when going outside, use whitening cosmetics, and even turn to medical treatments to keep their skin smooth and bright. Some even apply sunscreen at night, believing that electric lights could also darken their skin. From this obsession with avoiding tan skin, a unique beach fashion trend was born, the facekini. While Western bikinis are designed to show off curves, the facekini is a mask that covers the entire face, leaving only the eyes, nose, and mouth exposed. Many women pair it with long-sleeved shirts, long pants, gloves, and socks for total sun protection. At famous beaches like Qingdao, the product once sold so well that supply could not meet demand. To attract buyers, manufacturers released designs with polka dots, floral patterns, lucky cats, and even superhero motifs. In some years, the facekini even appeared in international fashion magazines as one of China's strangest trends. Beyond skin tone, Chinese women also pay special attention to achieving a V-line face with a sharp chin. At one point, the knife-sharp chin trend became so popular that many people sought cosmetic surgery. However, excessive procedures often made faces look unnatural. Yet that did not stop the spread of this trend. Some cosmetic hospitals even offered V-line combo packages that included jaw shaving, filler injections, and facial liposuction all in one session to meet customer demand. Large eyes with distinct eyelids are another favored beauty standard. Although East Asian genetics naturally tend to create smaller eyes with single eyelids, procedures to widen the eye corners and create double eyelids are extremely popular. The downward tilted style, also known as puppy eyes, was once loved by many young people for its innocent, cute look. In terms of body shape, the common belief in this country is that the thinner, the better. Many women follow strict diets and train intensely to achieve a tiny waist and slender legs. However, it is not just about being thin, it must be the right kind of thin, meaning a small waist and slim thighs, while still maintaining full breasts and hips for a seductive appearance. Interestingly, this beauty ideal is the complete opposite of ancient Chinese standards, when fuller figures were seen as the symbol of beauty. A prime example is Yang Guifei, one of the four great beauties of China, famous for her voluptuous charm that captivated the emperor. Are you curious to learn more about the love and personality of Chinese women? If yes, leave a comment with the number 2, and we'll reveal it in the next video. Number 5. Chinese cuisine. Strange, but also delicious. There is a saying that the Chinese eat anything that moves. While it may sound exaggerated, Chinese cuisine does include countless types of animals that many other places would find unacceptable. People here may eat crocodiles, turtles, sharks, frogs, and even dogs, cats, insects, and cockroaches. Yes, you heard that right. In recent years, dishes made from cockroaches such as crispy fried cockroaches, spicy cockroach stir-fry, and even cockroach sushi have started to appear. Of course, these cockroaches are not the kind you see at home, but are farmed in specialized facilities to ensure hygiene. Initially, cockroaches were raised to process food waste and serve as supplies for medicine or animal feed. But over time, they turned into a type of Chinese delicacy. Some high-end restaurants even serve cockroaches on their menus as a superfood, rich in protein, zinc, and essential micronutrients. Aside from cockroaches, China is also famous for many dishes that make outsiders cringe. One prime example is eggs boiled in urine. People believe that boiling eggs for hours in the urine of prepubescent boys can strengthen the kidneys and improve vitality. The taste is certainly not pleasant, but some still endure it because of their faith in its medicinal benefits. Stinky tofu is another dish that is equally famous. The tofu is fermented until it develops an extremely pungent smell. Outsiders may run away at the first whiff, but for the Chinese, the stronger the odor, the better the batch. Many even say that once you get used to it, you'll become so addicted that it's hard to give up. However, one cannot just focus on the bizarre dishes and forget the essence of Chinese cuisine. Peking duck has long been a national symbol. The duck is roasted until the skin is crispy and the meat tender, then served with thin pancakes, scallions, cucumbers, and a signature sauce, creating a refined combination. Another highlight is Sichuan hot pot, a fiery red pot filled with chili peppers and numbing Sichuan peppercorns that leaves diners sweating but unable to stop eating. We also can't forget Kung Pao chicken. Chunks of chicken stir-fried with dried chili, ginger, garlic, and roasted peanuts create a spicy, savory, and slightly sweet flavor. This dish became so popular that it appears on the menus of many Chinese restaurants in Europe and the US. Are you curious about what cockroaches taste like? If so, you can actually find dried cockroaches for sale online, as China now exports this product to many other countries. Number 6. The most unique transportation system on the planet. If you are a first-time visitor to China, you will surely be overwhelmed by the country's transportation projects, which are both unusual and daring. First, we must mention Chongqing, known as the Labyrinth City. Here, you might step onto the rooftop of one building, only to find yourself on the 20th floor of another. Gas stations are not only built on the ground, but also on rooftops, where you need to take an elevator up to refuel. Some intersections even have up to 5 stacked layers of roads. On top is an elevated expressway. Below it is a bus route. Next to that is an elevated railway, followed by a regular roadway, and at the bottom is a tunnel cutting through the mountain. Some roads start as overpasses, but later turn into tunnels. Even experienced drivers in Chongqing say driving here feels like entering a maze game, and Google Maps is often given wrong directions. Leaving Chongqing, in Xinjiang there is a 75 kilometers long road, with more than 600 consecutive bends. This is a nightmare for those who get carsick easily, but at the same time, a paradise for speed enthusiasts. This road is so famous that many car manufacturers choose it as the filming location for commercials showcasing their vehicles' cornering abilities. In Guiyang, there is a special highway that amazes visitors. This route not only crosses rivers and mountains, but even runs straight through a 19-story residential building. The scene looks like something straight out of a science fiction movie. Even bus stops in China are impressively creative. Some cities have built bus stations shaped like giant hats, others in the form of a white rabbit, or designed as oversized buses to serve as waiting areas. In Xiamen, there is a bus terminal weighing as much as 170 Boeing 747 seconds, and the entire massive structure can rotate 90 degrees to regulate traffic flow. Beyond quirky designs, China has also built projects considered challenges for humanity. A prime example is the Qinghai-Tibet High-Speed Railway, located at an altitude of over 5,000 meters, crossing snow-covered mountains year-round. Trains on this line must operate in conditions of low oxygen and freezing temperatures, dozens of degrees below zero. Another striking example is Hechi Airport in Guizhou, built on a mountaintop with a runway stretching above the clouds, while deep cliffs lie just below. The mere act of landing safely here is a challenge, making this airport one of the most dangerous in Asia. Number 7. The most tightly controlled country on the planet. China is often considered the country with the strictest level of control in the world. Living here, you cannot use globally popular platforms like Google, Facebook, or YouTube. More surprisingly, even TikTok, the hugely successful app developed by a Chinese company, is not available in its international version. Instead, citizens are required to use a domestic version called Douyin. The main reason is that the government wants to strictly control the flow of information and limit outside influence. As a result, countless local apps have been developed as replacements. WeChat functions like Facebook, Baidu serves as the search engine instead of Google, Bilibili is similar to YouTube, and DeepSeek has emerged as a new competitor to ChatGPT. However, it is not only the internet, even the right to have children was once heavily regulated. For decades, the one-child policy was enforced nationwide. It was later relaxed to 2 children, but if a family had a 3rd child, they could face heavy fines, lose their jobs, or be placed under special monitoring. This is the complete opposite of many other countries, where having children is even supported financially. China's reasoning was that uncontrolled population growth would put immense pressure on the economy and society. However, the consequence has been rapid population aging and a dramatic decline in birth rates. The government is now urging people to have more children by offering incentives such as cash subsidies, tax reductions, low-interest home loans, and extended maternity leave. The entertainment industry in China is also under strict regulation. Each year, only about 34 foreign films are approved for screening. Hollywood blockbusters aiming to enter this market often have to remove sensitive scenes related to religion, human rights, or political issues. Even domestic films are not exempt. Scenes depicting homosexuality, time travel, or overly romantic love stories risk being banned. In some cases, television series have been pulled entirely after just a few episodes due to details deemed contrary to traditional values. In daily life, surveillance has reached an almost absolute level. Security cameras are installed densely across streets, shopping centers, and residential areas, operating 24/7. In many places, the system is integrated with artificial intelligence to analyze behavior. If you suddenly stop and look around, the system may tag you as suspicious. With just one more action considered abnormal, the data will be recorded, and you could face serious trouble. Some cities have even deployed gait recognition technology, meaning that even if you cover your face, the system can still identify you simply by observing how you walk. Interestingly, most Chinese citizens do not see this as an invasion of privacy, but rather feel reassured, believing that constant surveillance ensures the safety of daily life. So, do you think these somewhat heavy-handed policies are reasonable? Share your opinion in the comments below. Number 8. The silent military power. When people think of China, many immediately picture its massive economy or rapid advances in civilian technology. But few realize that in the military sphere, the country is also making great strides to become a force on par with Russia and the United States. On land, China has introduced the Type 100 tank, one of the most advanced combat machines. This is no longer a traditional tank, but rather a high-tech warrior integrated with artificial intelligence and augmented reality. Thanks to this, the crew can observe the battlefield in 360 degrees as if inside a video game. Targets are identified and locked within seconds. Some sources even claim that the Type 100 has autonomous capabilities in emergency situations, meaning that even if contact with the crew is lost, it can still move and fight on its own. At sea, China is experimenting with the bold idea of using unmanned aircraft carriers working in tandem with a wide array of automated devices. Imagine a fleet moving in perfect harmony like a living organism, where drones, autonomous submarines, and surface vessels cooperate closely, selecting targets and firing simultaneously without direct human command. These trials have already taken place in the South China Sea, raising serious concerns among neighboring countries. Some analysts have dubbed this a swarm army, in which hundreds of machines could overwhelm a target at once, overloading any defense system. In addition, China is researching hypersonic railguns. This weapon does not rely on explosives, but instead uses electromagnetic force to fire projectiles at 6 times the speed of sound. A single shot is powerful enough to pierce thick steel and destroy a warship in an instant. With such destructive capability, many experts see it as a weapon that could shift the global naval balance. On the ground, China has drawn attention with its armed robot dogs. Initially designed for civilian purposes such as patrolling or rescue, once equipped with machine guns and connected to drones, they become a mechanical strike force. These 4-legged robots can climb stairs, leap over obstacles, and coordinate attacks in packs. The idea of a killer dog swarm has sparked alarm worldwide. Beneath the sea, China possesses the Type 094 nuclear submarine, one of its most dangerous strategic assets. Each submarine can carry 12 JL, 2 intercontinental ballistic missiles with ranges capable of reaching the US mainland. When combined with artificial intelligence for navigation and targeting, the Type 094 becomes a nuclear deterrent, helping reshape the security balance in the Pacific. Notably, China is already developing the next-generation Type 096, predicted to carry twice as many missiles. So, what do you think? Do these technologies surprise you about China's military strength? Leave a comment and let's discuss. Number 9. Unique festivals in China. While many countries celebrate Valentine's Day on the 14th of February, in China, people have their own version of Valentine's Day, held on the 7th day of the 7th lunar month, called Qixi. This day is tied to a famous legend, the tragic love story of Nulong, a cowherd, and Jinu, a fairy. They fell in love, but were separated by the Jade Emperor, only allowed to meet once a year when a flock of magpies formed a bridge across the Milky Way. Unlike in the West, where roses are the main gift, in China, couples often exchange small handmade items or red apples as symbols of peace and lasting love. If the West has Halloween, China has the Hungry Ghost Festival, held on the 15th day of the 7th lunar month. People believe this is the day when the gates of the underworld open, allowing wandering spirits to return to the human world, so the living must make offerings to appease them. Throughout the streets, you can see offerings placed on the ground, including fruits, wine, food, and paper money. People also burn paper houses, paper cars, even paper phones and clothes, as if sending them to their loved ones in the afterlife. In many places, releasing lanterns on rivers is a common practice, believed to guide lost souls to the path of peace. Some regions even set up outdoor opera stages to perform for the ghosts, as they believe spirits also need entertainment. At such times, entire towns glow with firelight and red lanterns, creating a magical scene that leaves an unforgettable impression on visitors. When it comes to a festival that has made China famous worldwide, the Harbin Ice and Snow Festival must be mentioned. This event begins in January and lasts for over a month. It originated from an old tradition where fishermen carved holes in the ice, placed lanterns inside to light their way, and eventually evolved into a massive winter festival. Today, thousands of sculptors create colossal ice structures, palaces, monuments, castles, and even miniature cities. By day, they shine crystal clear like glass, and by night, they transform into a dazzling light show of many colors. Visitors can enjoy a variety of winter activities, from ice skating and snowmobiling to even weddings inside ice chapels. Some couples even choose the festival for their proposals, believing that love witnessed by the Ice City will be as eternal as winter's frozen beauty. Number 10. Interesting facts about Beijing. Beijing, the capital of China, is one of the oldest capitals in the world, with a history spanning more than 3,000 years. What's remarkable is that the city was chosen as the capital not just once, but 6 different times over more than 700 years of Chinese history. These milestones occurred in 221 BC, 1271, 1000, 402, 1000, 644, 1912, and 1949, each tied to significant dynastic changes. The reason Beijing was repeatedly chosen as the capital lies in feng shui principles. In Eastern belief, an ideal capital must have mountains behind it and vast plains or seas in front. Beijing meets all these requirements. To the north and west, the Yan and Shanxi mountain ranges form a natural wall, while to the south stretches the broad North China Plain. The entire city is planned along a north-south axis, with the Forbidden City at its very center. Behind the palace lies the mountains, and in front is open space, creating a stable and powerful position for the emperor. This is the classic layout of an Eastern imperial capital. With such a long history, Beijing today is a treasure trove of heritage. The city has 42 nationally protected sites and 6 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including the Great Wall, the Forbidden City, the Temple of Heaven, the Summer Palace, the Ming Tombs, and the Peking Man site at Zhukudian. Moreover, Beijing boasts nearly 200 museums, the most in all of China. Among them is the National Museum of China, located right next to Tiananmen Square, considered one of the largest museums in the world, displaying artifacts from ancient times to the modern era. Alongside its reputation as a 1,000-year-old capital of culture, Beijing was once infamous for a worrying issue: air pollution. At its worst, fine particulate matter levels were up to 90 times higher than the World Health Organization's recommended limit. The sky was perpetually hazy, sunlight was blocked, and many days the sun could not be seen at all. But in the past decade, the situation has changed dramatically. In 2020, the number of heavily polluted days dropped to just 10 and 88% decrease compared to 2015. This achievement came from a series of strict measures such as relocating factories out of the city, restricting old high-emission vehicles, rapidly expanding renewable energy, and planting more greenery throughout the capital. Thanks to these efforts, today Beijing's residents can once again look up at clear blue skies, proof of the determination to transform the capital into a cleaner and more livable city. Number 11. Vibrant nightlife in Beijing. In Beijing, when the sun sets, it doesn't mean the city goes to sleep. On the contrary, this is when a different rhythm of life awakens, livelier and more bustling than during the day. After 10 p.m., areas like Huhai Lake and Dongjimen light up, welcoming crowds who come to eat, drink, stroll, or gather with friends. Food streets fill with customers, while bars and lounges stay open all night, making these places favorite hangouts for young people. Some streets are so lively at night that you might forget it's already past midnight. What makes Beijing special is that nightlife here isn't just about going out, but has become a cultural feature in itself. Large cinema chains like Wanda and CGV are busiest during late hours, from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Karaoke venues in Chaoyang or Dongcheng often stay lit until 3 or 4 a.m., especially on weekends. In big parks, dozens of square dancing groups practice tirelessly late into the night, surrounded by crowds of onlookers cheering them on. Some night markets such as Panjiayuan not only sell antiques and art, but also serve as meeting points for collectors who stay discussing until morning. At the heart of nightlife is food. Some streets get busier the later it gets. The most famous is Ghost Street, where hundreds of restaurants stay open until 3 or 4 a.m., serving everything from spicy Sichuan hot pot, skewers, and stinky tofu to midnight porridge and cold noodles. Many young people follow a familiar combo: start with a late movie, then head to karaoke, drop by a bar, and finish with an all-night meal. In recent years, Beijing has also seen the rise of small food trucks around parks, offering baked buns, roasted sweet potatoes, and warm soy milk for late-night strollers. Some even play live music, turning the park surroundings into spontaneous mini-concerts. While food and bars are the gathering spots for the young, squares and parks belong to the elderly. After dinner, hundreds of seniors gather for square dancing, a form of outdoor group dancing with lively music blasting from portable speakers. Participants line up and move in synchronized steps, resembling a giant fitness class. This activity not only helps maintain health, but also brings joy and a sense of community, to the point that many foreign tourists, when witnessing it, don't hesitate to join in the dancing. Number 12. Tourist destinations in China. The first destination is certainly the Great Wall of China, the country's most iconic structure. This wall stretches for more than 21,000 kilometers, winding through high mountains, valleys, and even arid deserts. Standing on famous sections near Beijing, such as Badaling or Mutianyu, visitors can take in sweeping views of majestic landscapes and imagine the battles fought there thousands of years ago. Walking along the uneven stone steps and touching the ancient bricks provides a feeling that is both intimate and awe-inspiring. Another must-see stop is the Forbidden City, also known as the Imperial Palace. It once served as the residence of 24 emperors for more than 5 centuries. Covering an area of over 720,000 square meters, it includes thousands of halls, golden glazed roofs, and incredibly intricate carvings. Walking through the Meridian Gate into its vast courtyards, visitors can easily sense the grandeur and authority of China's imperial dynasties. Today, it is also a museum housing countless precious artifacts, reflecting the refinement of ancient culture and art. For breathtaking natural scenery, Zhangjiajie in Hunan province is an unforgettable choice. This land is famous for thousands of towering sandstone pillars rising straight into the sky, draped in lush forests and mystical mist. The landscape even inspired the movie Avatar. From the Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge, suspended hundreds of meters high, visitors can admire the spectacular panorama below. Experiences such as taking the cable car up to Tianmen Mountain or walking along the transparent glass path clinging to the cliffside are thrilling challenges that quicken the heartbeat but leave lasting memories. Further south, Guilin in Guangxi offers a completely different kind of beauty. The Li River winds through unique limestone mountains, creating a landscape often compared to a living ink painting. The 80-kilometer cruise journey from Guilin to Yangshuo takes visitors past caves, peaceful villages, and mountain peaks reflected in the clear water. The scenery changes constantly, giving travelers the sense of wandering through another world. Number 13. Mysterious places in China. The Taklamakan Desert, located in Xinjiang Autonomous Region, is the largest desert in China and the second largest in the world by area. Its name is often translated as, "Once you enter, you can never leave," earning it the chilling nickname, the Sea of Death. Although today it is harsh and nearly uninhabitable, in the past this desert once supported thriving communities. Many structures such as houses, temples, and even ancient cities existed here, only to be gradually buried under the sand. In 1900, Swedish explorer Sven Hedin accidentally discovered the ruins of an ancient Chinese kingdom beneath the vast dunes. In 1979, archaeologists unearthed the famous mummy known as the Beauty of Lulan. Despite being more than 4,000 years old, the body remained astonishingly well preserved, from skin and hair to even the details of her clothing. Moreover, other mummies with features resembling ancient Europeans, dating back about 3,000 years, were also found in the region. The great mystery lies in how, under such extreme heat and arid conditions, the bodies were preserved almost intact for millennia. Another strange phenomenon occurred in the winter of 2008. The Taklamakan, known for being hot and dry year-round, was suddenly blanketed with snow up to 4 centimeters thick. The snow lasted for 11 days, making the desert look like a northern wonderland. Images of the golden sands turning into a sea of white snow quickly spread, becoming one of the rarest natural climate events in China's history. Thanks to such mysteries, the Taklamakan remains an irresistible destination for scientists and adventurers alike. Beyond deserts, China also hides secrets tied to ancient structures. When people think of pyramids, they often think of Egypt. But surprisingly, China also has pyramid-like structures that puzzle archaeologists. The story began when American pilot James Gaussman, on a flight from China to India, spotted a peculiar valley. From above, he saw a massive white pyramid with perfectly flat sides and a transparent crystal-like material gleaming at its peak. Later in the 20th century, many other reports mentioned nearly 100 pyramids scattered across Shaanxi province, mostly within about 100 kilometers of Xi'an. Among them, one structure called the Great Pyramid of Xi'an was said to be over 300 meters tall. If true, this would make it more than twice the height of the Great Pyramid of Khufu in Egypt, which stands at 139 meters, making it the tallest pyramid in the world. What troubles researchers is that to this day, very little official information has been released about this pyramid complex. For decades, the Chinese government restricted surveys and even planted trees to cover them. To this day, they remain one of China's most intriguing archaeological mysteries. Number 14. Cost of living in China. The cost of living in China varies quite significantly depending on where you choose to live and your lifestyle. In major cities like Beijing or Shanghai, renting a one-bedroom apartment usually costs around $600 to $900 per month. Meanwhile, in smaller towns or less developed areas, prices are much more affordable, only about $150 to $350, suitable for those who want to save money or experience a lifestyle closer to the local community. If you prefer cooking at home, grocery shopping at supermarkets or traditional markets typically costs between $230 and $280 per month. On the other hand, eating out at local restaurants is also quite common since it's both convenient and inexpensive, at just about $3 to $7 per meal, while also giving you the chance to try many regional specialties. In large cities, public transportation is very well developed. With around $15 to $20 per month, you can travel freely on subways and buses without needing to own a personal vehicle. Beyond housing and food, healthcare and fitness services are also reasonably priced. Many modern gyms, fully equipped with machines, group classes, and personal trainers, charge an average fee of $30 to $50 per month, making it convenient for anyone who wants to maintain a healthy lifestyle. All in all, the cost of living in China generally ranges from $880 to $1,800 per month, depending on the city you live in and your personal spending habits. Number 15. Important notes for travelers. When traveling to China, one of the most important things is to prepare the necessary apps on your phone. In many places, cash has almost disappeared from daily life. People use Alipay or WeChat Pay to pay for everything, from a $5 meal at a small eatery to high-speed train tickets. Foreign travelers can now link their Visa or MasterCard to Alipay, but it's best to set it up before arriving to avoid confusion once you're there. Language is also a major barrier that many don't expect. English is not widely used, even in big cities like Beijing or Shanghai. And if you travel to smaller provinces, it's nearly impossible to find English speakers. Therefore, it's best to download a translation app that works offline or learn a few basic Chinese phrases such as asking for directions or ordering food. Many travelers have shared that simply showing the translated text on their phone was enough to get locals to help enthusiastically. One seemingly small detail that often causes confusion is public restrooms. At train stations, parks, or tourist sites, most toilets are squat style and rarely provide toilet paper. Travelers usually have to bring their own tissue and pocket-sized hand sanitizer. This cultural difference can be quite inconvenient if you're not prepared in advance. When traveling by train or high-speed rail, you should also pay attention to the security check process. Luggage will be scanned just like at airports, and some seemingly harmless items such as fruit knives or lighters may be confiscated. There have even been cases where travelers carrying bottles of liquor as gifts were stopped because they exceeded the volume limit. This makes packing for China trips much more careful compared to domestic travel. China's urban transportation system is extremely advanced, but can sometimes be confusing for visitors. Many subway stations have up to 15 different exits, each hundreds of meters apart. If you don't pay close attention to the map, you might take the wrong exit and spend dozens of minutes trying to get back to where you need to go. So, we've just explored 15 fascinating facts about China together. Hopefully, this information has given you a fresh perspective on this colorful country. If you found the video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our next journeys. Among these 15 facts, which one impressed you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. The information is for reference only, so please do your own research before making any decisions.